Stop visualizing what you want. Stop right now. Most people watching this video on the library spend hours trying to ask the universe for success, money, love, healing, while their nervous system, deep within their own flesh, vibrates in a state of pure terror, contraction, and scarcity. And that is exactly why nothing happens. Not because the universe is ignoring you, not because you don't deserve it, but because there is a biological error, a silent short circuit between what your mind says it wants and what your body signals to the field 24 hours a day. Arthur Miller, one of the most unusual scientists of the 20th century, discovered something that changes everything you believe about manifestation. The universe does not respond to your desires. It responds with pinpoint precision to the frequency of coherence in your body. And in the next few minutes, I will show you exactly where this interference lies, how it is sabotaging you this very second, and how to reverse it so that the field has no alternative but to say yes. There is an uncomfortable truth that cheap manifestation gurus don't tell you. The more you try to force a spiritual outcome, the further you push it away. The more you repeat affirmations with a clenched jaw, the more your unconscious registers that the desired reality is absent. Effort in itself is the signal of lack, and the field reads the signal of lack as a direct order to maintain that lack. The principle that Arthur Miller pointed to, and which modern neuroscience is only just beginning to confirm, is that awakening and manifestation do not require doing more. They require stopping the interference. The universe is already in motion in your favor. Synchronicities are already happening. Opportunities are already knocking at the door. The problem is that there is mental noise so loud inside your skull that you cannot hear anything but your own fear amplified on a loop. Think of a radio station. The music is playing all the time in the air, passing through walls, passing through your body this very second. But if your receiver is poorly tuned with a bent antenna, catching interference, you only hear static, and you spend your life believing that the music simply doesn't exist. It's not that it doesn't exist, it's that you cannot receive it. And this is the true function of inner work, not to create reality from scratch, but to remove the interference that keeps you from perceiving the reality that is already arriving. Most people are trying to manifest while still having their finger in the electrical socket of stress. The shock doesn't stop, and the person thinks the problem is the wrong socket. No, the problem is the finger. Here is what no one teaches you in cheap law of attraction courses. The brain is not a receiver of reality, it is a generator. More specifically, your autonomic nervous system functions as a bidirectional antenna. It reads the environment and it transmits to the environment. And the type of information it transmits depends entirely on a single factor, the state it is in right now. When you are in fear, chronic anxiety, constant vigilance, and most modern people live 70 to 90% of their day in this state without even realizing it, the system enters a defensive sympathetic mode. The pupils constrict, the breath rises, the periphery of the body receives less blood. And neurologically, this means your perception also narrows. You literally start to see fewer options, fewer faces, fewer coincidences, fewer exits. The reality around you hasn't diminished. Your perceptual resolution has diminished. In contrast, when the system enters vagal coherence, when parasympathetic tone rises, when the heart and brain begin to oscillate in harmonic rhythms, something extraordinary happens. You start to notice paths that were there the whole time. You start to attract people who have always been around you. You start to have ideas that seemed impossible. It is not that the world has changed. It is that your antenna has expanded. This is the central secret of Arthur Miller translated into the language of neurobiology. The reality you experience is exactly equal to the resolution of your nervous system to perceive it. Not a bit bigger, not a bit richer, not a bit more abundant. And this is where the problem lies for most people watching this video. You know this intuitively. You feel like something is blocked. You try to meditate and the body doesn't shut down. You try to visualize and the image isn't sharp. You feel like you're close, but something invisible holds everything back. That is why I prepared the magnet for abundance for you. It's not just another course of affirmations. It's not just another visualization technique to read before going to sleep. It is a 28-day protocol designed specifically to reprogram your internal field, lower the chronic sympathetic tone that keeps you in scarcity, and install, day by day, the energetic signature of someone whom money seeks out. It is not theory. It is daily neurological training. In the first pinned comment of this video, you will find all the information to start today. Comment now, "I am the receiver," if you are ready to stop asking from the wrong place and start transmitting from the right one. There is a scene that repeats itself in millions of rooms around the world every day. A person wakes up, opens a journal, writes powerful affirmations about abundance, prosperity, worthiness, repeats them out loud, visualizes a scene of wealth, closes the journal, and in the following 15 minutes, while having coffee, their stomach starts to tighten with the thought of the month's bills, the jaw clenches on its own, the shoulder rises toward the ear, and without realizing it, this same person spends the next 16 hours of the day transmitting, in every shallow breath, a single message to the field. I don't have it. It's not coming. I can't do it. This is the cruelest biological error of the modern self-development movement. No one warns you that affirming one thing, while the body feels another, is the energetic equivalent of screaming, "I am at peace," while the autonomic system releases cortisol in a cascade. The field, or the universe, or whatever you want to call this organizing intelligence, does not hear words. It reads electromagnetism. It reads patterns of oscillation. And your body is a much louder transmitter than your mouth. Arthur Miller demonstrated mathematically that the human body functions as a set of coupled oscillators. The heart beats, the lungs expand, the cerebrospinal fluid pulses, and each of these rhythms creates a wave that propagates beyond the skin. When these rhythms are in conflict, racing heart, held breath, racing mind, the emitted wave is chaotic, fragmented, unintelligible. What you are actually asking for is more chaos, and the chaos arrives, punctually. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is absolutely faithful to the signal you emit. The issue is not wishing louder. The issue is stopping the act of asking for one thing with your mouth and the opposite with your physiology. As long as there is this contradiction, no technique works, none, no matter how beautiful your gratitude journal may be. Now for the most important part of this video, and the one that will change the way you understand your body from today on. There is a biological state called heart coherence. Research from the HeartMath Institute, and before them, the brilliant intuitions of Arthur Miller, demonstrated that when the heart enters a regular, smooth, undulating rhythm, usually associated with emotions like gratitude, appreciation, deep calm, it emits an electromagnetic signal that becomes the most powerful in the human body, more powerful than the brain's, about 5,000 times stronger. And when this cardiac signal enters into sync with brain waves and the rhythm of diaphragmatic breathing, the body enters into what Arthur Miller called a coupled oscillatory state. In this state, three things happen simultaneously. First, sensory perception expands. Second, the processing speed for new information practically doubles. Third, and most importantly, the signature your body emits into the electromagnetic environment becomes ordered, clean, and coherent. It is like moving from a football stadium with 50,000 people shouting different things to a perfectly tuned choir singing a single note. The difference is not in volume. It is in order. And the field can only respond to ordered signals. This is the silent engineering behind every miracle, every sudden turnaround, every manifestation that seems to come out of nowhere. It is not luck. It is physiological coherence. And anyone on this planet, with the right instruction, can produce this state on demand. But most never get there because they try it once, feel something beautiful, and quit before it becomes their baseline. And it is precisely the baseline that matters. This state is fragile at the start. You touch it for 30 seconds and the stress of the day pulls you back in 5 minutes. That is exactly why the magnet for abundance exists, to force the repetition of coherence for 28 days in a row until it becomes a neurological baseline rather than an act of willpower. Everything is in the first pinned comment. Comment, "I choose alignment," if you decide to install this now without further delay. The core formula that Arthur Miller left for conscious manifestation fits into 5 steps, and its simplicity is the reason why most ignore it. Modern humans have been trained to only trust what is complicated, but the nervous system responds in reverse. It responds to what is simple, what is rhythmic, what is repeated with real presence. The first step is to sit. Just sit. No mystical posture, no mantra, no ceremony. The spine comfortably elongated, feet planted on the floor if possible, hands relaxed on your legs. This step seems banal, and it is where 90% of people already fail. To truly sit is to send the body the message that it does not need to be ready to run, fight, or defend itself. The second step is to regulate the breath. Inhale for 6 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. No force, no theater. Just the 6x6 rhythm, which is the exact frequency at which the vagus nerve is activated and the heart enters ordered variability. In less than 90 seconds, your physiology changes. It is not a placebo, it is mechanics. The third step is to bring your attention to the center of your chest. Do not imagine. Do not visualize a light. Just feel your chest. And generate, right there, a real emotion of gratitude. Not gratitude for something grand, abstract, distant. Gratitude for something concrete, small, present. The warmth of a coffee. Your lungs working. A loved one's face. This emotion is the fuel that synchronizes the heart with the brain. The fourth step is to define a simple intention, in the present, without negation. Not I want to have money, not I don't want any more debt. Something direct like I receive abundance with ease. The nervous system only understands the affirmative present, and the fifth step, the most difficult for the Western mind, is to let go. To let go means not to check, not to verify if it has arrived yet, not to negotiate with the result, just return to your day. And immediately after, and this is crucial, choose a micro-action coherent with what you just asked for and execute it without hesitation. Asked for prosperity? Open your banking app without terror. Look at the numbers with neutrality. Send that message to the client. Make a 5-minute decision that had been stalled for weeks. Inspired action, even if tiny, is the physiological confirmation that you believe in what you asked for. Without it, the system silently undoes everything within the next 24 hours. The problem for most people is that they do the formula once, feel something beautiful and never repeat it. And the nervous system, just like the rest of biology, responds only to repetition. Arthur Miller suggested, and neuroscience confirms, that 3 short windows per day are exponentially more effective than 1 long session a week. The daily protocol is simple and brutal in its efficiency. 3 times a day, morning upon waking, before the world enters through your eyes, midday, before or after lunch, to reboot the system of accumulated tension, night before sleep, to record the state into deep sleep where long-term memory is consolidated. Each window lasts between 3 and 6 minutes. 6 and 6 breathing, gratitude in the chest, visualization of a single specific scene of the desired future, lived in the first person, with smell, texture, sound, temperature, and then a micro-action in the real world that confirms the intention. This cycle, repeated for 21 to 28 days in a row, produces a real change in the autonomic baseline. It is not poetry, it is plasticity. Old neural pathways, addicted to stress and scarcity, begin to lose density. New pathways, trained in coherence and abundance, begin to thicken and myelinate. And then, only then, does external reality begin to respond differently. Because you have become physiologically a different person. The protocol does not seek spiritual intensity. It does not seek ecstasy. It does not seek tears. It seeks constancy. It seeks alignment. It seeks repetition until it becomes an automatic identity that the body sustains even on difficult days, even when life gets tight, even when bad news arrives. And here is the point that separates those who only watch this video from the person who effectively changes over the next 28 days. You can try to set up this protocol on your own, with scattered videos on the library, disorganized notes, generic audio clips. It will work partially with ups and downs, forgetting precisely on the chaotic days, the days when you would need it most. Or you can use the complete magnet for abundance system, with sequential daily audio, binaural beats to induce theta at the right time, and ready-made protocols for 28 consecutive days. It is the difference between trying to relearn how to breathe by reading a book and having someone guide your breathing every single day. Everything is in the first pinned comment. Decide before closing this video, because a decision made after closing it has a 98% chance of never happening. Inertia is a powerful anesthetic, and it is already taking effect. And now the part no one wants to hear but everyone needs to face. Your limiting beliefs are not thoughts. They are physiological patterns etched into your tissue. When you believe, deep down, that money is hard to come by, that abundance is for others, that something good lasts briefly and is always followed by something bad, you are not just thinking this, you are living it. Each of these beliefs has a corresponding bodily signature, a shoulder that rises millimeters without you noticing, a breath that stops for half a second, a contraction in the solar plexus when seeing a large number, a jaw that clenches when receiving a high value, even when the value is good. These micro-contractions are your beliefs embodied, and external reality resonates not with what you say you believe, but with these silent micro-contractions that repeat all day long, in a loop below your conscious radar. The field, ultimately, is a faithful mirror of your physiological average over the last few weeks. It does not reward, it does not punish, it does not choose. It merely reflects. Did you ask from a place of constriction? You receive constriction. Did you ask from a place of relaxation and certainty? You receive relaxation and certainty. This is the honest law. There is no mysticism here. There is resonance, and resonance is pure physics, demonstrable, repeatable. The good news is that if beliefs are physiological, they can be changed physiologically. Not with more positive thinking, which is like painting a wall that is collapsing, but with daily coherence, with new aligned microactions, with a nervous system that learns in the flesh to sustain the frequency of abundance without being frightened by it, without sabotaging it when it appears, and without sinking when it takes time. Because that is what separates the person who manifests from the person who only wishes their entire life. Those who manifest do not ask louder. They ask with more alignment, and the aligned always defeats the chaotic, always, without exception. You can close this video now. You can scroll to the next one. You can promise to start tomorrow, next week, or next month. And tomorrow when you wake up, your body will repeat, with absolute and silent fidelity, the same emotional past it has repeated for the last 10, 20, 30 years. The same tension with the first cup of coffee, the same contraction when looking at your bank account, the same energetic average sending the same signal and attracting with mathematical punctuality the same reality. Or you can change your neurological baseline now, not tomorrow, now. Biology is waiting for a clear instruction, and a clear instruction does not come in thought. It comes in a decision followed by immediate action. Comment below, I am in sync. If you understand, with every single cell in your body, that the universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your state. And check the first pinned comment. The next version of you is already calibrated, already ready, already waiting. All that is missing is for you to say yes to it with your whole body, not just with your mouth.